prostitute. Now she's now introduced me to prostitute. When I got to 5 years, this brother would just call me. Notice that he just covered my mouth with one of his hand and uses the other hand, started using the finger into my private part.
At 5?
Yes, at 5. 3 fingers. Before I know, started using his manhood. Even sometimes I will have to cry that I want to go and ease myself. Then he will tell me, go and ease yourself and come back. You don't want me to kill you. If you ease yourself and if you don't come back, or if you tell anyone, I'm going to kill you. Any parent outside there should know that being a parent is far from paying your school fees.
At the end of the day, I need 500 naira. It got to a point, my mom went home, one dodgy wallet, all of co ashon, ton for warajo, on the only key yakop, my mom bought that clothes then, maybe for 5,000. And the woman said, Timama call ashon laili day or jagele.
The lady was interviewed about what she went through in life, and I haven't gone through the interview. I haven't seen the interview. I knew she actually went through a lot. This lady went through a lot. As much as I can say, she has a lot of traumas hidden in her. Because right now, she's dead. I would say I foresee it coming, because the rate at which she's giving out information in the video, the rate at which she's pouring out her heart, I can see she has gotten to the climax stage of a trauma, and she just needed to vent out her anger. She just needed to be heard. She just needed to pour out that anger before she can let go of her soul. Parents, when are we going to learn? For crying out loud, the destiny of these children are in our palms like a platter of gold. The destiny of this individual are in our hands. I am not in any way faulting her parent. Neither am I faulting her as well, because if she had been put in the right place or nurtured in the right way, she might have not gone to what she went through. And like I was saying, parents need to learn. In our interview, what I deduced was some people in her vicinity was actually aware of what was going wrong with her, especially her sibling. A particular sibling of ours was aware of what she was going through, and she decided to hoard the information. She decided not to speak out based on the ideology of a particular thing she's feeling at that very moment. That's where the question comes in for parents. How are you teaching your kids to be related to each other? How are we making them to know that they are each other's keepers? How are we making them feel like whatever it is that is affecting your younger one is affecting you? How are we teaching them to defend each other? Imagine the sister knew she was being molested. The sister knew she was being something bad is happening to her, and she decided to hoard the information based on the fact that this is the girl that my mother picked preference on against me. This is the child, or this is the particular favoritism of my parent. Why do we pick favoritism in children? Why do we make them enemies of each other? Why can't we just train these children in peace? If, assuming the mother had always been a kind of parent that takes care or showed love to all of them equally, I'm sure such thing wouldn't have gotten to that stage that it got to, because the lady would have voiced out for her. Obviously, she is older than the victim. She is older and she can easily speak for her. But she was not speaking because she felt Ọlọ́run ló mú ẹ. Shebi wo ni mommy fẹ́ràn. You are the one that is being loved. This particular case, it's actually so painful because this trauma in that particular victim would have been avoided. Let's assume it even started when nobody was aware. No one was aware of it, why it started. Fine. But that point where that elder sister saw her or knew about it, it would have been stopped and it would have been reprehended. And the victim and the accuser would have been caught at that very time. The victim, which is the child, she would have felt loved, and the particular trauma she went through wouldn't have gotten to the extent it got to in her, to the extent that she killed herself. People, let's love our children. Let's train them. Let's let them know that we really care and they are important in our lives. It is not much enough to send children to school. It is not much enough to just send them to school and leave them at the mercy of themselves. If you train a child physically, what about the emotional part? What about the spiritual aspect of parenting? What about the physical aspect, the emotional part of parenting? Who are you leaving it for? The innocent children? The innocent children that doesn't even know their left from their right? That girl doesn't know what that accuser or that particular person was doing to her. And she fell at the mercy of such man. Nobody was there to stand for her. I really felt her pain. It's so saddening. And she killed herself. She died. A young lady with God. A young lady that actually has dreams. Had things she wished she wanted to go for. I heard her saying she wanted to go into baking. She wanted to be a caterer. She has aspirations. She felt taking care of her mother. At that stage, she's still thinking of the way she's going to take care of her mother. Parents, or let me say mothers, because we are actually the one that has a lot of work to do. Mothers, we have a lot of work to do on children. Yes, although fathers are not left behind. But mothers, we need to be so conscious. We need to be able to train these children with love. There is no way you will show a child love, that you train a child with love, that such child will go outside of such love, except something else goes wrong. But on the scale of 100, if you train a child with love, there is 90% guarantee that such child will be so confident of themselves, and they will be able to defend each other in the future. I used to have friends, or let me say I had friends, that no matter what transpire within them, they will stand for each other. Even if you're fighting one, if you fight one of them, they will stand for each other. Even if the mother is trying to pull one down, like, this one is not giving me money, this one is not doing this one is not doing that, based on the fact that one is not yet on that stage where she is able to give the amount of money the mother is supposed to collect. The other ones will stand for her and say no. The other one will stand for her and say she doesn't have. If she had, she would have given you. They fight, they defend each other, and I see love. I see. Ọlọ́run ló ń bá wa tọ́ ọmọ tòótọ́ o. But our fúnra we need to be conscious. We need to know that we have a lot of work to do. Children are being showed love. Stand for each other. And where is the aspect of sexual education? When are we going to start learning this as African parents, that we are supposed to train these children that when someone touched you this way, when someone did this to you, you are supposed to voice out. No matter the number of threats they give to you, you are supposed to voice out. How are you inculcating love in them? How? Is it that you choose a particular child against the other or over the other? Or you make them know, you rub it to their face that a particular child is more important than the other? Or is it because, okay, the father of that child, you're no longer with the father of that child, so the present father that you are with, is the children of such father is supposed to be more important than the other child? Have you forgotten that these other ones that are older are the ones that will defend the younger ones? They are the ones that will speak for them while in school or while being bullied. Parents, please, let's learn. Let's learn to train these children with love. Let's nurture them in the right way to go. There is no how you will train a child from childhood to love each other that they will not love each other. There's no how you will make them see how important that each of them are, that they will feel less of themselves. There is no how. Let us know how to train them and nurture them and know that they are each other's keeper. Whatever happens to your brother actually happens to you. Whatever happens to your sister actually happens to you. Like I used to say, ẹni tí bí máa bà láàrin àwọn àbúrò mi tó máa kàn mí, ẹni tí bí máa tiẹ̀ bà tó máa kàn mí, k'Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí ibi bà. Yeah, because there's no how your sister or your brother will be affected that it wouldn't concern you, except you are demonic possessed. Except you don't have the Spirit of God in you. Except you are not human. You don't know what it takes to be human. Parent, you have no excuse. As a mother, you have no excuse. Being poor does not give you the leverage, does not give you the excuse to be able to raise a dysfunctional child. It doesn't give you the leverage to raise an emotionally traumatized child. Being poor does not give you that access, or does not give you that right. Does not give you an excuse. If the mother of that child that is, let's say they are poor, does not mean the child had to go through what she went through. In as much as they can feed. Yeah, it was an outsider that dealt with her destiny. They dented her destiny. They toyed with her life. A all grown-up child killed herself. I'm sure she should be in her 20s. Full with life. Full with desires and dreams. But she died because she was burning inside of her. She was burning inside of her and she could not control her emotions. She could not control her sexual urge. She could not control anything. Everything is looking as if it's down to her. Everything is looking so upside down and she decided to end it. And I'm sure after that interview, she might have received backlog of calls like, why would you have to go online? Why would you have to do this? Someone at that age, really? Someone at that age, she is supposed to be treated like egg because she's at the climax, the ending stage of traumas. And they can do anything to themselves. Do you think people that commit suicide just wake up one day and commit suicide? No. They must have been nurturing the aspect or the idea of committing suicide for long. They have been nurturing it. They've been planning it. They've been trying to see what they can do. Most of them only want someone that will tell them, don't do it. They only want someone that will say, no, this is not the next step you're supposed to take. They only want someone that will encourage them. Someone that will even just hold their hands and take them out of that situation they find themselves. Or someone that will just give them the advice they need at that very moment. Then we parents, we keep banging and shouting. We feel the only way we can train up a child is by inculcating fear in them. Then what happens when they no longer fear you? What happens when they get to the stage where they are of their own, that they no longer fear you? What happens? What measure will you use then? How would you keep talking to your child and your child will keep listening to you? If you don't inculcate the spirit of love in them at a very young age, if you don't inculcate the spirit of them liking you and trusting you at a very young age, how do you want to do it when they grow older? Is it that then you start commanding them again? No. That is when you will lost it as a parent. You have lost it. If you don't train them at the very young age, when the Bible said we should train up a child in the way you should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. Every other book of God also clarifies it. Then you want to use the veto power. Okay, because I am your parent, you must do this, you must do that. You will lose it when they get to a particular age. They will no longer fear you. Love, nurture, love with friendship, with communication, good emotions. Let them know that you hear them. Let them know that they are important. Let them know that they are heard. Whatever it is they said is being heard. Until we African parents or African mother decide to be intentional about our parenting, to really take parenting a child as a job, as an hobby, as something very serious, that is when we will stop producing unhealthy kids. That is when we will stop producing dysfunctional adults. That is when we will stop producing bad family. African parents need to wake up. The idea of I was trained this way, so definitely a child has to be trained that way. We are no longer in that era. This is computer era, where everything seems so open in the air. You have to direct a child on which way to go. If not, when they grow older, they will depart from that lane. They will go aside what you have even laid down as instruction. And believe it, you can't stop them. You can't stop them when they get to that time. You can't even stop them. As I was saying in that story, the lady was trying to, because she was asked, what lesson have you learned? What lessons have you learned in your experience? Or what would you advise everyone outside in your experience? She said she experienced, she's begging, or she's trying to like talk to parents to be able to use the power they have as a parent to train a child with love. That if her sister wasn't feeling the way she was feeling, she would have defended her. For you to know the extent she studied what went wrong in her family. She was even talking about their financial status, and that is the only way you can be an intentional parent. That is the only way you will be able to be successful as a parent. Of course, with the help of God. Thank you.